Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're jumping into something huge, something that, well, it really shapes almost everything around us, often quietly. The global financial market.
It really is the backbone, isn't it?
Yeah.
Trillions of dollars constantly moving.
Exactly, just this massive flow of capital that underpins entire economies. It's kind of amazing how much it dictates, even when we don't notice it day to day.
Absolutely.
So our mission today is pretty straightforward. We want to give you the key takeaways from the latest forecasts looking out towards 2033.
Give you that shortcut, really.
Yeah, a shortcut to understanding where the money's headed and, importantly, why. So you walk away with a clearer sense of the future financial landscape.
And understanding these forecasts, it isn't just for economists, It's genuinely crucial if you want to get a handle on the global economy.
Right.
Because where that capital flows, well, that's where you find the power shifts, the innovation, the big opportunities. This deep dive should really help paint that picture.
Okay, let's unpack this then. And just to be clear, when we say global financial market, it's broad.
Very broad, not just stocks.
No, exactly. We're talking banking, investments, insurance, capital markets, the whole ecosystem. It's massive and interconnected.
Definitely.
But let's start with the big picture, the sheer scale. In 2021, the global financial market generated, get this, $26.87 trillion.
Just pause on that number for a second. $26.87 trillion.
Right.
Yeah.
Now take a guess. What do you think that jumps to by, say, 2033? In just over a decade.
Well, the scale's almost hard to grasp, but the projections show an incredible climb. First, by 2025, it's expected to hit $35.85 trillion.
Okay, significant jump already in just a few years.
But here's the really eye-opening part. By 2033, it's projected to reach, wait for it, $63.77 trillion.
Wow.
Nearly doubling. That's a compound annual growth rate, a CAGR, of 7.47%. Pretty strong.
Nearly doubling in just over 10 years. That's more than just growth, isn't it? It sounds like a fundamental shift. What does that kind of expansion tell us?
Well, it signifies profound resilience, first off, but also just a continued broad expansion of financial activity across the globe.
Right.
It signals that the sector's dynamics still growing, but maybe also becoming more interconnected, perhaps even more decentralized in some ways.
Interesting.
Yeah, this growth really highlights the core role of banking, investment, insurance, all these components in driving wider economic development and linking economies globally like never before.
Fascinating stuff. Okay, so with that huge global growth established, the obvious question is who's driving it? Where's it coming from?
Exactly.
Let's maybe look at the traditional players first. North America, for instance, always a dominant force.
And set to continue based on these numbers. Revenues there are projected to go from $9.79 trillion in 2021.
Okay.
All the way up to over $22.41 trillion by 2033. That's a 7.02% CAGR.
Still very strong growth, and the U.S. is the bulk of that, I assume.
Yes, as you'd expect. The U.S. is projected to hit $17.36 trillion by 2033. It's the lion's share. But what's quite interesting within North America is Canada. Really impressive momentum there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, growing even faster, actually. An 8.13% CAGR. It's projected to reach nearly $3 trillion. And Mexico's significant, too, looking at $2.05 trillion by 2033.
So it's not just a U.S. story, then. It's a strong regional performance overall.
Precisely. It's a powerful regional growth story. And their sustained growth isn't just about volume. It's also about leading in, specific high-value areas. Think sustainable finance, complex derivatives.
Ah, okay. So maintaining strategic importance.
Exactly. Even as other markets grow rapidly in overall size.
That makes sense. Okay, let's hop across the Atlantic. Europe, another traditional heavyweight. How's it looking there?
Europe's expanding steadily, too. It goes from $8 trillion in 2021 up to $18.35 trillion by 2033. That's a CAGR of 7.06%. So very much in line with North America.
Solid growth. And the key players there, UK, Germany.
Yep. The UK is projected around $2.14 trillion. Germany looking at $2.67 trillion.
And I saw something interesting about France.
Yes. France actually stands out. One of the faster growth rates in Europe, about 7.8% CAGR. It's projected to surpass $2.71 trillion.
Okay, notable.
But maybe even more striking, host speaker, is the rest of Europe category.
Right, what's happening there?
It's expanding rapidly, set to more than double, from $1.77 trillion up to $4.62 trillion.
Wow, more than double. Where's that coming from?
A lot of that dynamism seems to be driven by emerging markets in Eastern Europe, really picking up steam financially.
Interesting. So even within the established regions, there are pockets of really accelerated growth.
Absolutely. And these figures for North America and Europe, they show that while, yes, they're established, they're far from static.
Right? Still innovating, still growing.
Exactly. They provide that crucial stability and ongoing innovation for the whole global system. They're driving niche, high-value growth that keeps them strategically vital.
Okay, so we've got the established players holding strong, innovating. But you mentioned dynamism.
Mm-hmm.
Here's where it gets really interesting, I think.
The new frontiers.
Let's shift focus now. The fastest growing regions, Asia-Pacific and Africa. Tell us about Asia-Pacific, first identified as the fastest growing financial hub overall.
That's right. The numbers are quite remarkable, rising from $5.95 trillion back in 2021
Okay.
to an estimated $15 trillion by 2033. That's an amazing 8.22% CAGR.
It's 15 trillion. Huge growth. And who's leading the charge there? China? India?
Predictably, yes. China is projected at $4.47 trillion, India at $2.36 trillion by 2033.
And India's growth rate is particularly high.
Extremely high. India's recording an 8.98% CAGR. Really impressive. Singapore is also very strong, 8.75%, and Southeast Asia as a block, 8.57%. High rates across the board.
But wasn't there something even more explosive within APAC?
Yes, this is the aha moment, maybe. The category labeled Rest of APAC.
Okay.
It shows absolutely explosive growth. We're talking a 10.35% CAGR.
Over 10%, what does that signify?
It means it's not just about the giants, right? It reflects really rapid financial development spreading across a whole range of emerging economies in that region. Widespread transformation.
Incredible. Okay, so Asia-Pacific is booming. But you said Africa is actually the fastest growing region globally.
Globally, yes, on a percentage basis. It's starting from a smaller base, of course, but the acceleration is stunning, expanding from $472.7 billion in 2021
Right, much smaller starting point.
to a projected $1.64 trillion by 2033. Now, that leap represents a double-digit CAGR, 11.65%.
11.65%. That is serious velocity, a sign of massive potential being unlocked.
Absolutely. And within Africa, you see Nigeria and South Africa both posting strong growth, over 11% CAGR each.
Strong numbers.
But again, just like in Asia, the rest of Africa category is where you see the peak growth rate.
Even higher than 11.65.
Yes, it records the highest growth rate globally in these projections, 12% CAGR.
12%. Wow. That just screams untapped potential across the continent.
It really does. Vast, untapped financial potential. And these rapid growth rates, in both Asia-Pacific and Africa, they're not just abstract numbers.
Right, what's behind them?
They reflect major shifts happening on the ground. Think about population growth, rising digitalization, mobile phone penetration.
Fintech adoption.
Exactly. Fintech is huge. Mobile payments have completely changed commerce and financial access in places like Kenya, for example. Digital lending platforms are reaching millions who were, frankly, unbanked before.
So it's technology meeting demographic shifts and rising middle classes.
Precisely. And for you, the listener, what this signals is areas of just immense future opportunity. Transformation is happening fast. We could see entirely new financial models emerge from these regions.
Fascinating. Okay, just to complete the world tour, let's briefly touch on South America and the Middle East. They're showing steady momentum too, right?
They are indeed. South America revenues projected to grow from $1.67 trillion in 2021 up to $4.34 trillion by 2033.
Solid growth there. Brazil leading.
Brazil's expected to exceed $1.28 trillion. And interestingly, Argentina shows a very striking growth rate, 8.98% CAGR.
Almost 9% for Argentina, okay.
And again, that rest of South America category also expands strongly, about 8.8% CAGR. So broad growth there, too.
And the Middle East.
Also strong growth. Forecasted to hit $2 trillion by 2033. That's up from just under $1 trillion, $981 billion in 2021. Represents a 5.95% CAGR.
And Saudi Arabia is the regional leader there.
Yes, projected to reach $638 billion by 2033. So these regions, South America and the Middle East, maybe not the double-digit growth of Africa or parts of Asia, but still very consistent contributors, often linked to, commodity markets, but increasingly diversification efforts are key drivers too.
Right. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground. Staggering global growth overall, the established players holding firm but evolving, and then this incredible acceleration in Asia, Pacific, and Africa.
Quite the picture.
So let's try and connect the dots. What's the fundamental why? What's really fueling this immense global expansion across the board?
Well, if you synthesize the analysis, it points to a few core drivers. First, just broad-based economic development.
Like a rising tide lifting all boats.
Sort of, yeah. As more economies develop, as middle classes expand, you just naturally get more demand for financial services. Mortgages, insurance, investments, loans, the whole spectrum. It expands the entire pool.
Makes sense. What else?
Second, and this is huge, technological innovation, fintech, digital transformation. It's making finance cheaper, faster, and much more accessible.
Like the mobile payments example.
Exactly. Or think about cross-border payments using new tech or micro-lending apps reaching people miles from a bank branch. It's transformative.
Okay, so development in tech. Anything else?
And third, just expanding investment opportunities, new markets opening up, new sectors attracting capital. Global connectivity means money can find opportunities anywhere, and investors are searching for those higher returns, pushing capital into new areas.
Got it. Economic development, tech innovation, and new investment flows. So for you listening, how does this actually, impact your world? It sounds big and abstract.
Well, it's less abstract than you might think. These macro trends, they influence everything from the types of investment opportunities available to you to the stability and services offered by your own bank or pension fund.
Right. Even the cost of goods sometimes through global trade finance.
Absolutely. It connects to the broader global economy that you participate in every day. So maybe a question back to you, the listener. What stands out to you about these drivers? Which one feels most relevant to your experience?
That's a good point. It challenges maybe some common assumptions, doesn't it? What's one big misconception these numbers push back against?
Oh, that's a great question. I think one major misconception is that global finance is, like, static, that the old centers of power, London, New York, will just always dominate in the same way.
And these numbers say,
These numbers show incredible dynamism. They show a real shift happening in where the future growth and likely innovation will come from. It's not that the old centers disappear, but the map is definitely being redrawn.
yeah, the landscape is changing shape.
Exactly. And that constant flow of capital, the new services, it touches your loan rates, your retirement savings, even as you said, the price of imported goods. It's all connected.
Okay, so let's try to wrap this up. Key takeaway. The global financial market isn't just growing steadily, it's undergoing a really significant transformation.
Right. You've got the established players, North America and Europe, maintaining strength, innovating.
But the real headline-grabbing growth, the dynamism, is coming from these new frontiers, particularly Asia, Pacific, and Africa. They're really reshaping the definition of a financial powerhouse.
The numbers make that clear. Trillions more dollars flowing, fueled by that combination of economic development, tech breakthroughs, and new investment opportunities.
Which leaves us with a pretty provocative thought to ponder, doesn't it?
I think so. Considering Africa's described vast, untapped financial potential and that explosive growth in the rest of APAC, what comes next?
Right. Beyond 2033, what's the next wave? What new innovations or maybe even completely unexpected financial centers might emerge from these areas?
And what unique solutions might they develop? Solutions tailored to their own populations, their own needs, that could then potentially ripple out and influence the global financial system in ways we haven't even thought of yet.
How might that impact your investments, your financial life down the road?
Exactly. Lots to think about.
Definitely food for thought. This deep dive really underscores just how interconnected and rapidly evolving our financial world truly is. We hope this gives you a clearer picture of the forces at play.
Keep exploring. Keep asking questions.
Absolutely. Keep diving deep into the surprising facts shaping our world.